Well, good evening, everyone. It is Sunday, August the 10th, 2025. I want to wish my mother a happy heavenly birthday. I know she is celebrating with her friends and family in Christ in heaven, and I look forward to celebrating with you, Mom. Very soon. So, we have a lot of changes since the last time I gave you an update late last week. And so let's not dilly dally around. Let's get into it. We have two areas of disturbed weather. We have 96L, 97L. 96L, not even going to talk about it. It's going to be a fish storm. But we have 97L, and that's got a 90% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. And it is located all the way out east of the Cabo Verde Islands. So it is located way out here in the eastern Atlantic. That's the one we really need to worry about here over the next several days here. So let's go ahead and get into it. There's the broad picture, and there you can see our area of disturbed weather, and it's actually sitting right over the Cabo Verdes. And I'm going to go ahead and slide this one over, this image over here, and I will zoom in. There's not When we kind of zoom in, I'm going to lose some resolution. Let's see if I can find a closer in. I don't think I can. Central Atlantic. There we go. Eastern Atlantic. So while that pulls up, let me go ahead and show you what's going on in the Gulf. If you're watching the weather, you probably can say, you're probably saying, hey, to yourself, there's something going on there. Well, there is something going on there. There is a remnants of an old frontal boundary located there, and you know how they can be. Hurricane Alicia spawned from that in 1983. There's a whole lot of other stuff that's spawned from old remnants of frontal boundaries. I don't expect anything from that. If we look at what's going on there you can see it. That's the remnants of an old frontal boundary sitting there in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. The pressures are still really high, and might as well go ahead and show you what's going to transpire over the next few days. We have some fronts starting to work its way towards the northern plains into the Midwest. We actually are the benefits of a frontal system ourselves here in northeast Tennessee. It's been very pleasant. Look at that. Who's jealous? Raise your hand. I know I would be if I was sitting somewhere else. It's been very nice. High temperatures in the low mid 70s. So it's been very beautiful. But let's go ahead and get back to 97L. You can see it really starting to get its act together. We've lost the sunlight out there, so not a lot to really see in terms of the visual imagery. If we were to look at the true color, you can see there we've lost the higher resolution of the true color. But so let's go ahead and see what we've got. We've got a really broad area of low pressure in the eastern Atlantic, and you can see the same thing in the GFS. I'm sorry, in the European. Now, if we take it out, we can see that the GFS really spins it up, and so does the European. Both of these models really do spin it up over the course of the next 3 days. I hate that drop down menu there, but so that we do have the GFS spins it up a little quicker. Hence the reason why it's going to want to take it out to sea a lot sooner, even eastern Bermuda. European's a little bit slower. It's going to track it even further west and recurve it east of the Carolinas, but it gives it a really close brush to the northeast. And then you can see towards the east of the period, one of these waves that comes off behind it, you can see there as it spins up what's going to be Erica, assuming this thing that's 96L doesn't get wrapped up. I don't think it will. So it'll be Erica, I believe. It's going to get spun up. Then it's going to spun up Fernand and wants to bring it into Florida. The GFS is going to take Erica and spin it out to sea, and then it's going to want to spin up the thing behind it and also take it out to sea. So you can see that you on the Gulf Coast look like you're off the hook for this round. There's going to be a whole lot more rounds to come. We're early August. Technically, the 10th of August is the last little sliver of early August. Tomorrow we move into mid-August from the 11th through the 20th. We're in the mid-August period, and then from the 21st through the end of August, we're in the latter part of August. So we're still technically in mid-August. All right. So let's see what's going on with our upper level heights. Let's see why we're looking at now these becoming fish storms or threat to the East Coast. Remember, we had this window when I talked that we could be East Coast of the United States or towards Texas. Well, what has changed to where now we're really looking at the threats towards the East Coast? Well, we have this persistent break in the ridge out here in the mid-Atlantic, and that seems to want to close up a little bit. We have a pretty good little ridge of high pressure, a pretty good little high here, but we also have a pretty good low pressure center off south of Newfoundland here, south of the Canadian Maritimes, and we still have our high pressure over Florida. You can see as we go through time here, we're not going to waste time with the GFS. We're going to stick with the European. We have still a pretty good break. We still have our good ridge. Now remember what we were talking about in our last video. Where do these things develop? How far south? You can see that we have a lot further northern component. We're already up around 20 north for this system. Earlier, these things were developing more along around 10 to 13 north. Well, this comes off already pretty far north. And it's really hard for these systems as they're developing already towards the north, around 20 degrees north latitude. That already imparts some Coriolis effect to them. And it's hard for them, once they're feeling the Earth spin, to want to stay south. The further north they are, the stronger the high pressure has to be to keep them south. When they're further south, around 10 north, 12 north, 13 north, the high pressure to keep them south doesn't have to be as strong. They can go with the flow a lot easier. And as they wrap up, they have to have a stronger high pressure system to keep them further south. And the further north they go, the stronger the high has to be. I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. And you can kind of see it working out here. Now, one of the things the European wants to do is it wants to build that high to the north of it as it moves further west. But it's trying to feel these breaks. And as you can see, as we get towards Monday of next week, so we're about 8 days ahead, you can see it starts to feel one of those breaks in the ridge. Now, this is still really far out in the future. A lot can change. I want to caveat that, all right? A lot can change. But it feels that break. And then what happens is it recurves it, and it wants to develop the European wants to develop a trough over the Tennessee Valley, over the Ohio Valley, over the Midwestern area of the country. Now, this could be a feedback loop of some kind that the model is sensing. It could be sensing, hey, there's some kind of interaction with the low itself, with 97L and with the model. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket with this. We have to see. So if we go on in the future, what it's going to do is after this system departs, which is usually typical of what happens, the ridge tries to build back in. So what you get something like this, where the low departs and then the ridge kind of pushes back in. And what that's going to want to do is then drive this next system further west to where you get a squeeze play along the Florida coast. Long time this is a long time into the future, guys. We're talking 360 hours. We're talking 2 weeks, 1 day, 15 days in the future. A lot can change. So as we um, go more looking at let's look at the United States here. All right, let's see what's happening here for the rest of the country. You can see Houston. You got a little upper level low sitting over you right now, and we can still see this persistent ridge over Florida, and it builds and it builds, and then we have our system. We have our system coming in, getting very close. Now, when you are talking 10 days into the future, this is too close for comfort. You could have a situation where it does go towards the GFS solution and it's east of Bermuda, or you could actually have a situation where we have a major impact along the Carolina coast or even into Florida. The the situation is that vast. Now, let's go back to this slide I was looking at. This is the ensemble forecast. So this is actually looking at all of the members of the choir. Remember that the control run that I've been showing you is one soloist. It is the guy singing or the lady singing out there by themselves. And it's usually the best voice in the whole choir. But sometimes a choir sounds better than a soloist, right? So, and that's usually the case as you get into the longer periods. And the longer period runs seems to want to indicate the same solution. That's usually good. And then what it wants to indicate is a really strong ridge building behind. But it also loses these systems. So if there's mischief in there, the ensembles aren't seeing it. And it wants to probably push these solutions further to the west. So as we get into the long term, we see this big trough here towards the south. Now, this would be really good news for a cool down in the southeast after you have been suffering in the heat. Look at all this heat in Florida and in the southeast, Georgia, etc. Even my neck of the woods gets a little warm here in the 7 to 10 day period, and then we really cool off. But then we have this tropical mischief sliding in. So wrapping this up, for my neck of the woods, as you guys can see, we start to warm up a little bit. Now, we did not reach 77. I can tell you that right now. As I just showed you, we're 70 degrees here at 6:30 in the evening as this is being recorded. And then we're going to warm up here to the upper 70s towards the middle of the week. But then we have this one thing about the mountains, the Smokies, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Anytime you start to get near 80 and you have a lot of abundant tropical moisture, you start getting these thunderstorms popping off. And that's pretty typical, even out in the mountains in the west. You get the dry thunderstorms out there, but here they're full of moisture. Looking towards Houston area, you can see you're going to start to warm up. Highs in the low to mid 90s. Guess what, guys? It's August. This is why I left, right? It's hot. So as you get down towards Brazoria County, same thing. Highs in the low 90s. That's not too bad for August, guys. I mean, you got to admit that's not terrible. Up towards Bryan College Station, my friends up there, mid 90s. Slight chance of rain. I could write this forecast in January for you guys and be right about 80% of the time. So as we get up towards the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, same thing. I could write the same forecast. Highs in the mid 90s, mostly sunny. It could be 100. It could be 105. So this is not terrible for this time of year. So I will definitely keep you guys updated. And right now, the bottom line up front is it looks like this is going to be a pretty intense system as it approaches the Bahamas and as it approaches Bermuda area. We got to keep an eye out, especially for the mid-Atlantic states. But we're still a long way away, a lot of videos to come. But friends, I appreciate you joining me. And until next time, may God richly bless you, my beloved.